Hey guys, Micah from blackbearcustomkydex. Forgive the mess on my desk. It has been in shambles lately as I am sprinting to get a lot of projects done that are a little bit overdue now. So, alright, today we are going to look at a few multi-tool sheets. Two of them were kind of standard and one of them was a little bit off the beaten path, but that's kind of my thing. I really like to do things that are not super common and not super expected. So these three sheaths are going to oh shoot, I forgot his name, but well, anyway, he's getting some sheaths. He sent me his Leatherman free P4. This is the only one that is his of the three. The other two are mine. This is a Wave Plus. This is an OHT. I own a pile of Leathermans, but this is one that I don't have yet, so he had to send this one to me. Let's look at this one last because I think it's the coolest. So starting with the Wave, this is the most straightforward of the bunch. He asked for all of them to be on a tech lock, riding horizontally. He also gave me some specific instructions as far as the direction that he wants to be able to draw the tool to then be able to use a specific, specific tool on his Leatherman. So I think he had said when he draws the Wave, he wants the saw or the serrated blade to be right where his thumb is, opening it with the thumb. However, you can see that you can flip this around and you can put it in either way. You can also put it in at the bottom, either direction at the bottom. So you can carry this 4 different ways. If you still have the pocket clip attached to it, it might carry a little differently, and you might find that the pocket clip only fits when it goes on the front of the sheath, so that would dictate a little bit of which way you've got your tool oriented. Personally, I take the pocket clips off of all of my Leathermans when I carry them in a sheath because I just think it carries a little better, and obviously it's just something I don't really need. It can snag on things. Just seems better without it personally. So anyway, so as far as the orientation goes, it doesn't really matter. He'll be able to put it in however he wants to. Going to the Leatherman OHT, you guys have seen me do a bunch of these. This one looks a little bit different. Usually I do 3 holes and a vertical tech lock. Where it's going to be horizontal, I wanted to do 4 holes and have it be shifted up a little bit so that the tech lock carries closer to the center of the tool itself. That'll give it a little more balance. It'll feel a little more comfortable, and of course it'll reduce how far off of your body this sticks if it happens to be mounted on a tighter curve on your belt. He specifically asked me to make it so that the pliers do not deploy. Now I know a lot of you guys have seen my stuff where you can obviously you have the choice of whether or not you want the pliers to deploy, and you can control that simply by pinching the pliers together. He said he's not going to use that function, so he doesn't want it. That said, I gave it all the other same features, so you still get a nice click in. I still have the bottom there because the tool is just the shape. It makes most sense to have something that's going to bottom out with this particular Leatherman. A lot of other ones, in the case of the P4, I might actually leave the pocket clip on there because it does do a really good job at balancing this out. With the Wave, it's got kind of a natural stopping point. You can force it through, but it's not going to go easily, so it just makes sense to stop. And then this one, you could easily put this in and push it all the way through due to the fact that this is pretty much just a rectangle with no taper. So it makes sense to have a bottom. To make it avoid auto deploy, all I did was I kind of bulged out the wall, the side wall here, so that it does not engage the pliers rail system. If you push hard enough, kind of like forcing it this way, you might get a partial deploy, but as it sits with the regular draw, you're not going to have any issues there. He'd also asked for this one to be drawing with the blade coming out the thumb, but again, it doesn't really matter because the tool can be oriented either direction when you put it in there. So, all right, so those are, oh yeah, and the P4 is the last one. So the P4, I'd never done one of these before. This guy was a real royal pain in the butt. The reason why this guy is so difficult to make a sheath for, at least the style sheath that I'm doing, is because it's got this little, this is basically a frame lock not a frame lock. It's a, shoot, what do you even call it? So when you deploy your tools, you've got it out like that, and it's actually got a lock so that it doesn't just pop back in. And these buttons are actually the release, almost like a triad lock or frame lock or slip joint kind of lock. So I'm not actually sure what they're calling this. I apologize, guys. I sound like a gear idiot right now. But if you guys know, you want to leave that in the comments down below, correct me. Let me know what this locking mechanism is called. But it's a really cool thing, because on a lot of other Leathermans, you have the issue of, I mean, some of the newer ones have at least an actual frame, a liner lock, I should say, down here. But on the older ones, the knives in particular, it's something that's really left to be desired, where you could fold it back down on itself. So if you ever did have to stab something, it might fold back down and slam shut on your fingers, and that's a bad thing. These locks are a really great addition to what Leatherman's been doing. So I'm a huge fan. Leatherman just keeps coming out with cool stuff. However, you can see that this locking mechanism here, or unlock, or whatever you want to call it, clearly sticks off of the frame quite a bit. So does the hardware on both sides. So the sheath has to be built up in the center to allow those to pass through. So you can see I've done that. I got a really nice crisp line. I think it looks really good. I basically did it by creating a wooden molding prop and then taping some metal pieces to it. So these are actually, the pieces of metal that you're looking at are actually meant for holster blocking, so that you can, you know, put them on the slide of a pistol when you tape it up before you press it, so that you've got adequate space for your slide release and safety lever and all that good stuff. But they work really nicely in the shop for a bunch of other purposes. So the one thing I'll tell you right now about this, you can put it on either direction, but when you put it on with the belt clip at the tech lock side, you're going to have issues, because that belt clip is just going to run into the tech lock. It's just not going to go easily. You could probably force it, but why would you? It's just not good. Make sure that whichever direction, you can put it in either side, but make sure that the pocket clip is facing out. If you need to, I'm fairly confident you can, oh no, maybe not. You cannot switch sides with this pocket clip. You could remove the pocket clip and still operate this with no issue. So if it's really going to be a deal breaker for the positions that you get with the pocket clip, just take it off. That said, the only other thing you have to watch out for is it's easy to kind of, if you have the tool tilted a certain way, to have the pocket clip get tucked. Then it's going to get stuck a little bit. It's just not as good a carry. So just make sure when you put it in, how I'm doing it is I kind of tilt it out this way a little bit, and it's no problem. You can also kind of lean it that way. So if you want to come up and toward the side of the pocket clip, that would just kind of help guarantee that that pocket clip always clears the outside of the sheath. The backside also has a similar bulge, but I didn't want to make it as crisp or as tall, because the tech lock still has to go on there, and I wanted to try to reduce how far away from the body this would stand. But all right, guys, that is pretty much all I have to show you on these. They're all carrying horizontal. However, due to the fact that Tech Lock has a symmetrical 9-hole grid, you can actually turn these 90 degrees and orient it for a vertical carry if you so choose. They are all ambidextrous, and I guess the only exception would be if you wanted to carry the Leatherman on your left side, you'd want to probably turn the Tech Lock upside down, and then the hardware is going to ride on the bottom instead of on the top to make the opening face forward, depending on which side you have it. So you know what I'm saying. All right, guys, let me know what you think of these down below. These are nice, simple, functional. I really love doing Leatherman sheaths. These are some of the most fun products that I make, and I think some of the most practical as well. So give me your thoughts down below. All right, guys, thanks as always for sticking around for my rambling. I hope I'll see you in the next one. Like, share, comment, subscribe. God bless.